We came to Nevada from Phoenix in a very difficult financial time in our family. My mother had passed away and my father had lost his business. And he was a casino host at Sahara Tahoe, and my stepmother was a cage cashier. And he learned this business literally by setting up a blackjack table in our garage and dealing hands of blackjack to us kids for hours and hours so he could really understand.
Diana Bennett talking about her father, gaming pioneer Bill Bennett. But gaming came into their life as a surprise. Bill Bennett was born the son of an Arizona rancher and served in the Navy as a dive bomber pilot during World War II. He came home to start a chain of furniture stores and sold them to concentrate on investments. When the investments went bust, the Bennetts wanted out of town. That's how the businessman became a gaming man. He started at the Sahara Tahoe in 1965, quickly working his way up through the ranks. The owner of the property, Del Webb, that asked him to also manage the Mint in downtown Las Vegas. The Mint had been losing millions. After Bennett took over, it quickly started making a profit.
When we came to Las Vegas from Tahoe, I was fortunate enough to spend some time with Benny Bennion, who taught him a lot about basics on slots and things like that. So he learned this business from scratch at a time when most people had already established their careers.
In 1971, after making millions from the stock options from Del Webb's company, Bennett left and started his own company with Reno gamer Bill Pennington. Their business leased novelty electronic gambling machines to casinos. And just 3 years later, in 1974, the partners leased the troubled Circus Casino on the Strip from founders Jay Sarno and Stanley Mallon with an option to buy. They bought it in 1983. The first thing they did, build a hotel tower. And soon, Bill Bennett brought his retail sense to the gaming industry.
And he recognized very early that there were things that he could bring to this industry because he came from a retail background, and he thought that those things that made retail good should be used in the gaming business, and they weren't. And we weren't giving people a really good room at a good price. We weren't giving them necessarily really good food at a good price. And if you did all those things to draw the people in, just like a grocery store or anybody else would, then you could get them to gamble once they were there.
And that's how Bill Bennett began luring middle American families to stay and play in Las Vegas. While business was booming, Bennett entertained his other passions, chief among them, animals. He owned several dogs, donated a lot of money to shelter unwanted pets, and spent a lot of money to help spay and neuter pets in the valley. Many bulletproof vests our canine cops wear come from his foundation. He also had a love of speed and aviation.
Till the day he died, you could give him a name of a plane and he could tell you the year it was built, who test flew it the very first time, where it was flown, when it was taken off the market. He loved anything to do with aviation,
including model aviation. He bought a piece of land near Sam Boyd Stadium and built an airstrip for model airplane enthusiasts. He helped expand the pond at Sunset Park so model boaters could race their creations. He loved bigger boats, too, yachts and speedboats, sponsoring hydroplane races. Remember Miss Circus? And it was all about the color pink. Did he ever get ribbing about the pink stuff?
No one ever ribbed him about pink. He would wear pink, and no one, at least to his face, would ever rib him about his pink.
Bennett and good friend Ralph Engelstad built the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the speed theme which he would later bring to his Sahara hotel. In the meantime, Bennett's gaming empire kept expanding. A Circus property in Reno, the Edgewater in Laughlin, taking the company public in 1983, opening the Excalibur in 1990, the Luxor in 1993, making the corporation Nevada's largest employer at the time.
I think, from a student, a UNLV student who studied great men in Nevada and great companies, he like all other great business guys, knew his customer. Like Steve Wynn knows his customer, Mr. Bennett knew his customer, and he knew how to entertain them, he knew how to exceed their expectations, he knew their limitations. So he really knew how to capture that mass family customer that he's so famous for. On top of that, he had a tremendous respect and love for his employees. his day-to-day employees as documented with his support of the unions, his pride in always being the first signer to a union contract, his support of the striking frontier workers, just showed that he knew that his success was built on the back of the employees that came and showed up and worked hard and gave 100% day in and day out.
In 1995, Bennett left the corporation he helped create. That's when he bought the Sahara, expanded and remodeled it, adding family attractions related to motorsports.
I think my father's legacy as Nevada is to really to turn this into a corporate town, as much as he would hate the thought that he made it all corporate. But he brought a sound business sense to an industry that really wasn't necessarily business driven. And he also was a face. I think one thing Las Vegas kind of lacks now is we don't have those faces that you attach to the properties anymore, the Benny Binions and my father. And you still have Steve, of course, but once Steve's gone, we don't really attach any of these corporate heads. And these were people that genuinely cared about the casinos, and they cared about their people, and they loved what they did. I mean, they were on the floor, 90% of the time. They wanted to be there and see what was going on. And that part is kind of died out.
Something else Bennett loved dearly, his wife, Lynn. Diana says her stepmother was the love of his life.